News Radio 700 WLW.
The last year, as we said, we constantly say this, it's just been so out of whack, every level of it, whether it's personally, professionally, financially, medically, it's been crazy. And a lot of companies now are welcoming their employees back to the work site. They've discovered that remote learning, or remote working, I should say, really and truly isn't what it's cracked up to be. In fact, we had on, trying to think who we had on yesterday, was a job expert who said that his company conducted a survey, and it showed that going forward, most companies only believe 14% of their workers will continue to work remotely, that the rest will be back in-house and back in-house very soon. So if you're planning to go back to the workplace and you happen to have a buddy that's just hanging around the house, I'm not talking about a relative or somebody like that. I'm talking about a pet. If you have a house pet like a dog or a cat, some may not react all that well to you not being in the house anymore. You know, they've seen you all the time, and now where are you going? You're gone, 8 hours? What's going on here? So you have to think about that before you actually go back to the office, because separation anxiety works for pets just like humans. So how do you combat that? Because I know a lot of you out there are people that have pets, and good for you. But it is a problem. It's something you have to consider. Somebody that knows all about this is a pet expert. We've had Lauriston Crockett on the show several times, and he knows this stuff inside out, and I'm glad that he's given us some time here today on 700 WLW. And Lauriston, how are you on this glorious Tuesday?
Ken, I am doing great, and it's so nice to be back with you. How are you?
Yeah, it really is. I love our talks about just how people need to think a little bit, particularly if they have a dog or a cat. They don't really give a lot of, let's get this dog, let's get this animal, and bring it into the house. They don't realize that the pets need attention too, just like human beings. Really, a dog is no different than a human. It does. You just don't take it out of wherever you get it from, someplace on a farm or an adoption service and drop it in your house, and it knows how to behave. I mean, you have to think a little bit too on this, don't you?
You really do. There's such a strong bond. You know, our dogs are pack animals, and they look for us to be the alpha wolf. And, we are their life just like they become our life. So as pet parents, we need to look for these signs and understand that they're trying to tell us something. As far as cats, I have 3 cats myself, absolutely love them. But basically what they do is just give me a shopping list when I leave and tell me to come back whenever I can. But dogs...
Yeah. If you figure that out, could you call me tomorrow, please?
Oh, yeah, right. It's catnap, but anyway... But yeah, dogs are so much different because of that. And like I said, when they're the separation anxiety, and I know a lot of pet parents are having some separation anxiety too, so I've been counseling them on that. But, there's certain signs that they're showing us, barking, howling, trying to destroy things in the house which they wouldn't before, maybe defecating in the house in areas that they wouldn't do that. I mean, there's signs. It's nothing other than they're just trying to tell us something. I'm anxious. I miss you. I need you.
Okay, and true. I mean, I think anybody that's had a pet and pays attention knows that could come up at any time. It might be just something as simple as you've left a room for a little bit, or you've gone outside to visit with a neighbor for just a little bit. But, okay, now we're going back. We're getting back into the workforce. We're going back into the actual office setting. What should someone who has a pet, and maybe they have adopted this pet over the course of the last year, and the pet has absolutely no idea what life is like without he or she around, what should they start doing right now?
Well, we need to start thinking about how to reprogram them, because life is about to change. People are going back to work. We're going to start getting our lives back again. As far as a pet's concerned, we need to recondition them in a loving way, in a way that they can understand. So what I tell people, before you head out, number one, exercise your dog. A dog needs up to 30 minutes a day of exercise. And depending on the breed, like a husky or something, they could use up to 2 hours a day of exercise. So we need to make sure that a dog that has been exercised and a sleepy dog is a happy dog. Also, don't make it a big deal when you do start leaving. Don't get them all riled up. Don't tell them how much you're going to miss. You're going to love them. Make it just very easy. I'm leaving. No big deal. I'll be back very soon. That's pretty important to do. Also, if you're leaving, you know what? You can give them a chew toy or a play toy, a toy that they can work with to get a treat out. If it's a really bigger issue, you can also leave something with your scent on it. You can also play some music and leave the TV on for them, too. Sure. That's just a few little tricks right there.
Sure. Well, I like the part about a tired dog is a happy dog. You have to adjust your lifestyle now to go back into the office, but you also have to adjust your lifestyle for your pet. So get up a half hour earlier so you can exercise or get your dog, for example, exercise either in your backyard, around your neighborhood, in a dog park, whatever it may be. I mean, it's, a lot of this is on you and not necessarily on the dog. So I think you have to adjust your lifestyle too.
You really do. And remember, when you took that pet on, you took on the responsibility of being a pet family and a pet parent. And so that is your responsibility to do that, just like the responsibility of your dog is always going to love you. There's another thing that we can do also to retrain the dog. When the dog usually sees you get your keys out or a coat out, something like that, they're going to start getting anxious. Let's make sure that they don't always recognize that you're leaving. You can get your keys out, you can get your coat out, and you can put it down, but then you can start going back and sitting on the couch, loving on them a little bit, and letting them know that doesn't always mean that you are leaving for a long period of time. There's just some ways to get them to start rethinking about what's going to be happening.
What about crating? There doesn't seem to be an age limit on crating for a dog, but what about crating and leaving the house? Not that I want to see anyone put a dog in a crate for 8 hours, but crating can be a very good tool as well, right?
It really can. My dog, Big Max, I give him just a
Big
hand
Max.
command.
I love that.
Yeah. Hey, 103 pounds, half Shepherd, half Labrador.
Oh, my goodness. Big Max eats some groceries.
He's a big guy, but, he's professionally trained. And so when I give him a command, he can go get in his crate. I wouldn't start crate training or just put him in a crate and leave immediately. That will cause major anxiety. Yeah. So let's make sure that we start training them that the crate is a safe place. You can put treats in there. You can put their blankets in there, too. So, again, if they're crate trained, I think that's awesome. Let's make sure we take them out and do their business and everything before we leave, and make sure we let them out as soon as we get home. But don't just throw them in a crate and leave and thinking that's going to be okay. Please train them first. That is a safe place for them.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is, and this really goes for people that have adopted a pet over the course of the last year and are working from home, and maybe they just out of routine they'll take the dog out every hour and a half. You really have to house train your dog, because if you haven't done that over the course of the last year, and that puppy is now a year old, there will be problems if you just leave him to his own devices when you leave, not just from maybe tearing a pillow up or something, but, soiling. I mean, it's going to be, you have to house train the dog before you leave the house for any great length of time. It sounds like common sense, but it may not be something that people are thinking about, having been around the dog for the last year.
True, and please don't punish that dog if you come when you find out there's been an accident. It's really not their fault. It's either that you haven't done your job to train them correctly, or you didn't get home in time enough, and they had an issue and they had to go. So that's not something that you should be punishing about. So I hope everybody remembers that. It's just something we need to retrain and think about, and we'll come up with a solution for it. You'll be able to work it out.
So you say don't make a big fuss when you leave to go to work, but I think it's okay to make a big fuss when you come home, because that would be something that the dog would look forward to.
Oh, I think so. And I think that, we're going to have separation anxiety, too. I know when I leave and I come home, Max is always there at the door. I got the tail wagging and big hugs waiting for me. But, yes, absolutely. But just make sure in the morning when you're leaving, or if you're going somewhere, don't make it a big deal. Don't get them riled up. Don't get them so excited, because they have to deal with that adrenaline after you walk out the door, and they're left in that house by themselves. So we need to really think about that.
Yeah. We're chatting with Lauriston Crockett. He is an expert on pet care, and we're talking about separation anxiety, which is going to occur as more people go back to the office and not work at home so much. Are you a fan of these monitored systems where you can actually have a two-way conversation with your dog? If you're at your laptop, for example, at work, you can dial up the monitor in the house or drop a treat in his or her bowl. Are you a fan of that stuff?
You know, I kind of am. I have to say that I have a security system in my house, and I'm always checking on Max, and I have a microphone there also, so I can call out to him, and his ears will, pop up, and it's kind of fun. It needs to be something that we do consistently. I wouldn't just pop in every now and then and give them a treat, and because the next day they're still going to be expecting that. So consistency. Let's make sure we're doing the same thing. I don't think that's going to be a hard problem because it really is kind of a treat to be able to log in and see our pet and see what they're doing and show a little love because, sometimes we need that back ourselves. We need to have, that bond that we have with our animals. It's not, hey, we'll just see you later. No, that bond is so strong with us also. So sometimes that can give us comfort too.
Yeah. At the risk of not taking this literally, but a dog will talk to you. You just have to listen. You just have to listen to what they're saying, and they're going to tell you. Some breeds obviously are more adept at it than others, but they will let you know. You just have to be sensitive to it. But this is a big deal, I think, with what's going to hopefully happen in this country with people getting out and about more and getting back to work. Just listen. Just dogs are very prescient. Be a little prescient with them, and I think you'll be okay.
Absolutely. And then if you learn this, then you'll understand what they're trying to tell you, and that's going to create a bigger bond with you and a better communication. And what a wonderful relationship with our pets. They are amazing. But remember, you're the leader. You're the trainer, and they're there to follow and love you. So make sure you do the right thing with them and just take these tips and put those to work.
Yeah. It's not just this issue that Lauriston is an expert on. A lot of things, how your pet can live a long and happy life. And you can find him at the Gift for Life, thegiftforlife.com. And I guess that's a good place to find you, right?
You can find that. Yeah, we deal in a new field of pet health and longevity, and we have a technology that can increase your pet's lifespan from 10 to 30%. So This is what we're dealing in now. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, fantastic. Hey, always great catching up with you. You always have such great ideas. Lauriston, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Ken, always enjoy being with you. Thank you.